Welcome to Tuesday morning medical Qigong group. It's so great to see everybody this morning. I hope you all are doing well. It's Tuesday, so we're going to be doing the basic 8, the first 6 exercises. Instead of the traditional circular breathing this morning, we're going to do some tapping exercise for our warm-up. So let's go ahead and start opening up, hip width, shoulder width apart, so we can have a nice, relaxed, stable stance. Settling in. The tip of the tongue is touching the roof of the mouth. We're breathing in and out through the nose. And softening the knees a little bit, while dropping the tailbone at the same time, reaching the very top of the head up into the sky, creating some space within the spine. Bringing the hands into loose fists. You're going to start swaying from side to side. Being gentle at first, especially if your low back is a little reticent this morning. We never want to push through the pain or push through the discomfort. We want to work with our bodies. Relaxing the tissues, letting them warm up, feeling the blood and qi move. And then as we turn from side to side, allowing that lead arm to travel up the torso. Moving to the opposing shoulder. And then letting this arm move back down. Taking away some of the momentum, releasing the hands. Coming back to stillness. Widening the stance. Tapping the inner thigh and then up at the hip. Transitioning, coming down the inner aspect of the legs, the yin side of the legs. Then to the yang side or the outside of the legs. Back on up. Once you get to the hips and the glutes, sliding that left foot closer to the right. Still breathing in and out through the nose. Letting the breath reach deep into the torso, down into the lower dantian. And then coming up to the low back. Placing the palms at the low back, circling down the sides and up the spine. Resting the palms at the low back, closing the eyes. Inhaling, guiding the breath and the chi to the low back, allowing it to fill up with energy. Exhaling, allowing that energy to travel and flow to wherever it's needed within the body. Inhaling, guiding the breath and the chi to the low back, allowing it to fill up with energy. Exhaling, allowing that energy to flow to wherever it's needed within the body. Inhaling and exhaling at your own pace. Letting the mind relax into the breath. Allowing the breath to relax the body. And allowing the chi to flow to wherever it's needed. Gently opening the eyes, letting the arms come back down to the sides and closing. Our lung, large intestine exercise. Inhaling and exhaling. In and out. Inhaling, exhaling, in and out. One more time. Releasing. Going ahead and working at your own pace, speeding up the tempo or slowing it down, whichever works best for you. I might try slowing it down a bit, but you go at whatever pace feels good to you. Getting ready to close. Closing. Our spleen stomach exercise. I'm going to have the extra modified breath, and then I'll go back to the classic way. You go with whichever works best for you. Inhaling. Exhaling fully. Inhaling. And exhaling. In. Out. Inhaling. And exhaling. In. Out. Now start working at your own pace, moving a little faster or a little slower. I'm going to take away the modified breath and just go straight from one side to the next, but you get to choose which works best for you. Getting ready to close. Closing. Our heart, small intestines exercise. Inhaling. Exhaling. In. And out. Now you going with your own pace. Getting ready to close. Our kidney urinary bladder exercise. Inhaling. Pausing the breath. Exhaling. Getting ready to close. Closing. Our pericardium stand jiao exercise. Inhaling. Exhaling fully. In and out. Inhaling and exhaling. About one more on each side. Closing. And then our liver gallbladder exercise. Inhaling. Exhaling. In. And out. Continuing on at your own pace with the big wide eyes. about one more. And releasing. Closing. Okay, so we're gonna have some fun with our facial rejuvenation series. Keeping the feet together so we can retain all that wonderful energy. Bringing the palms together, transferring some of that energy to the palms. We're doing our facial rejuvenation closing series the exact same way, but we are going to slow it down some so we can really enjoy each of the exercises. So with the same mind intent and intention that we had during practice, let's wash the face 9 times. And then wiping the brow 9 times. Once you've done 9 times, wiping up and down the entirety of the nose. And then circles inward and outward. Dredging the channels of the scalp, using all the fingertips, really enjoying massaging and dredging these channels. Beating the drum. Grasping and massaging the ears. Once again, enjoying that massaging, that light massaging action. Switching. Popping the cork. Connecting the Ren and Do. And then massaging the jaw. Brushing down the throat 12 times total or 6 times each side. Same down the breastbone, 12 times total or 6 times each side. Bringing the palms to the lower dantian, circling up the right and down the left 9 times. And switching. Resting the palms at the lower dantian, closing the eyes. Inhaling, guiding the breath and the chi to the lower dantian, allowing it to fill up with energy. And exhaling, allowing that energy to settle and store so that you may use it throughout the rest of your day. Inhaling and exhaling at your own pace. Letting the mind relax into the breath to relax the body. And allowing all that wonderful chi that you've been cultivating over the past half hour to settle and store. Thank you so much, everyone. It's so great to see familiar names and hopefully faces soon for our Chi Chat with Henry.
Good morning. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for the practice, Mary Frances. So we're moving along with the Basic 8 series. We'll be learning the 7th exercise this Saturday. So we're going to jump right back into the face and the elements. We learned about the first 3 elements in the past. So we learned about where the wood element tends to express itself on the face, fire, and yesterday we talked about earth. Today we're going to talk a little bit about metal, where the metal element and the metal energy shows up on our face and what they mean. So as we know, the metal is related to the lungs and large intestines. Okay, so it has a lot to do with our breathing, right? On one hand, that's the lungs. So obviously it's going to be related to our nose. Okay, so nose is one area where metal shows up. Another area where metal shows up is in the cheekbones. Okay, so some of us have more prominent cheekbones or more bony cheekbones, more structured cheekbones than other people. Okay, and you may notice that maybe there's one side is more obvious than the other side. So there's that too. Okay, remember the left and right side that we talked about and the differential there is in that. Another area that we look at is the cheeks themselves, the higher cheeks. Okay, so what do all these mean? Okay, so let's look at the 30,000 foot picture. So metal is about clarity, okay? Separating what we say the pure from the turbid, trying to filter out and trying to extract or get the pure chi from the waste energy. Okay, so it's a lot about clarity and also clarity in our lives, right? Like separating out things that are important to us and things that aren't. So I still think a lot about container store when I think about metal, because it's about like very good about grouping things, separating things, categorizing things, organizing things. So that's a very important thing with the metal energy. Okay, so similarly on the face, those qualities how they manifest in people is when someone has that gift of being able to sort of see things clearly and be able to find that clarity in things and humans and stuff like that. So those are strong leadership qualities. So when we look at the nose, we look at a nose that is more distinct, like it comes off the face. And if you look at the gift of metal, it's kind of a larger nose relative to the face. So what does that mean? Okay, so when we look at the nose, we look at leadership, ego, drive, and power. So these are things that come more naturally. It doesn't mean that if you don't have a big nose, that you aren't able to be a leader. No, it's not that, because you'll see leaders in your life, and they may have other qualities that help them out. Like perhaps they have that strong chin. When we talk about the chin, is that stubbornness, right? Like they won't take no for an answer type of thing. So we can use other gifts that can help us. If we don't have that exact gift, we have other ways that we can do to really achieve things that we want in our lives. But when we look at the nose, we look at that's kind of a gift. So things come easier. People tend to perhaps look at people with those big noses with a more of a leadership gift. But it's also about ego, their self-ego, because you also want to be put in a leadership position. You want to be out there. And not all of us want to be out there, nor do we want to be that front person that's representing like an organization or a group of people. Some of us just want to, hang back, do the work behind the scenes. So there's that. It's a gift and a challenge because it comes with a lot of stress. It comes with a lot of responsibility. And so having that gift is not always a gift. Okay, sometimes it can be a challenge too, because some people, they also, if you have that gift of that metal nose, sometimes you really shouldn't be out there. But because of your ego, you might want to anyway, and it may not be always appropriate. So there's that. That's why I always want to work with other elements. Okay, so that's what we look at when we look at the nose. Obviously, there's different kinds of noses. There's wider noses. There's longer, slender noses, and different shapes and tips and things like that. So there's a lot of details that go into nose, but in general, we look at that power, leadership, ego, that drive. Okay. So and one interesting thing is, like, we talked about plastic surgery, and some people try to, shrink their nose to make it more smaller or slender, because maybe they think their nose is too big. That's often a criticism. So if you have a big nose, try to own it. Okay. Don't try to shave it down to a tiny nose, because people are going to respond to you differently. That's the other thing, is that our perception also changes of people. So with the cheeks, okay, so we look at kind of these full cheeks. And if you have that, that's the gift of, we say, confidence. So again, it's perhaps, and this is where the left and right side is different, is like there's people who have more of that inner confidence, and they may not show it as often. They may not be as apparent, but they have the inner confidence in themselves. And there's other people who they project that confidence, but perhaps they may not be as, when they're alone and by themselves, they would like question themselves a lot, but they appear to have that air of confidence. So that air of things is a very metal trait, because it's about appearances, it's about, and sometimes that appearance is real, right? But how it appears versus how it really is internally can be two different things. So we look at confidence being this area, and some of us may not have that gift of those cheeks. And, when we all smile, okay, those cheeks tend to get fuller. All right. So that's another reason why we smile, and why confident people tend to smile a lot, right? So, and then one last thing with is the cheekbones. Okay, so the distinction between the cheeks and the cheekbones. Cheeks we look at for confidence, and the cheekbones we look at for authority. Okay, so think about people you look to in a crisis, or when there's a fire in the house. Who do you look to like tell you what to do? Or if you're that person that steps up and says, okay, yeah, we got to do this, this, and this, and this in a crisis. So that authority, so it's how people respond to you, but it's also how you respond to yourself. How do you see yourself in these situations? So nose, cheekbones, and cheeks. So let's look at some pictures so we get a better idea, because all you're seeing is my face right now. And you're thinking, okay, well, does he have any metal in him? Okay. All right. Let's show some photos to get a good idea. I see a variety of photos here. Mm-hmm. Oh, lots of photos today. Okay. All right. So she has that. Okay. So the one thing I didn't talk about is that sheen. We talked about sheen a lot before in metal, like skyscraper, that steel, that glass that has a certain sheen to it. And you can actually see in a person that certain people also have that sheen. You can sort of see that sheen on her face, especially like in her cheek area, on her, she has a very prominent forehead area, and there's that sheen also in there. So she has that metal gift. She has good full cheeks in there for confidence. She also has a lot of fire in that oval face and those smile lines. Okay, so here we see a very classic metal nose, very angular and long in him. That's really about the only metal feature in him, but I brought up this picture because you see that metal nose. It's quite long on his face, but it's also very angular, like it has a sharp. So not as much you think it's these peaks, but his is more of like a sharp angle, so that's more of a metal rather than fire. Okay, otherwise he looks more, has a more of a classic wood type face. Okay, and facial hair also can alter, and his he added here. Remember, the chin is for that like strong will, right? So for guys, if you have that facial hair, you can add to that by having a beard or a goatee. All right, so next up. Oh, it transfers over. Wow. Okay, let me clear this up. All right, so it's another classic metal face. Another area that I didn't mention with metal is those high eyebrows. So you can see with her, the gap between her actual eyes and the eyebrow itself is quite high. So we take a look at that as a very metal type feature. And, it can come off as like very aloof, or again, like that airs around somebody. So it can come off as a little bit distant, a little bit cool. She also has that classic, more cooler metal eyes, a little bit more cutting. All right. And she has the cheekbones and the cheeks here. So again, confidence, authority. All right, so here he has more angular type features, very defined. Like you can see his nose is very defined. You can see the high cheekbones, very defined. Even he's got more that classic chiseled metal look. Okay. All right, so in this case, he has very good cheeks here, you can see. Very full. So again, looking at confidence. And he also has a very larger nose on the face. So that leadership gift is there. And he has a more metal nose. A little angular, you can see, coming down, a little bit long on his face. And his eyes, in comparison, are more wood, like it kind of pushes at you, okay, as opposed to the cool eyes. Again, so this is good to kind of compare. So she has more of the metal eyes, okay? And he also has more of the metal eyes. They're not wood. Okay, they're more a little bit more cool and aloof. He has more earth eyes, very warm and inviting, okay? And this is more wood eyes, like he's there for a purpose, to get some work done. Don't bother him, type of look. All right, so, okay. So he has that good, again, like wood nose, excuse me, metal nose, good cheekbones here, as well as cheeks. So again, he's augmenting his, using that facial hair, helping to augment that earth area in the face, that chin area. So it helps with his will, or the appearance of, okay. So good metal features, good earth features. And also just contrast, like, well, okay, so some good examples of cheeks and cheekbones. You can see quite the opposite here, where in this person, you don't really see that cheekbone area. It's quite flat, actually. So I just want to give you an example of what it looks like if someone doesn't have that particular gift. But you can see his nose comes off the face. I don't have a picture of him directly, but you can see it comes off the face. So again, like he has some of that gift, the other gift of metal, which is that ego, leadership, drive through the nose. But he doesn't have that gift of the confidence or the cheekbones. But he's also using his facial hair to help with his earth energy and also water energy. We'll talk more about that tomorrow, about that water energy. But water is about determination and wood is about will. Okay, so having facial hair for men helps with this area. If you don't, like if you shave, maybe it doesn't look prominent at all, but having that beard and having that mustache and people goatee can help enhance, and sometimes it can help detract, but oftentimes it can help enhance energy for you. All right, so it's like feng shui on your face, adding facial hair. Okay, so that's some examples. So it gives you, hopefully that gives you some ideas of how metal shows up, and of course with the other elements mixed in. Thanks for joining us. We're going to talk about water tomorrow. All right, thank you.